Van Gogh-inspired pumpkins instructional video hosted by Amanda Powell. We're going to use different shades of blue and purple in the background to start. Fills for the background are usually done with wider paintbrushes. So you'll select your wide flat brush and start putting swirls of color on your canvas. You can make this as intricate or as simple as you would like. Now that we've done some swirls of purple, we're going to start adding in some blues and other varied shades of purple. You can use white to dilute your colors. This painting is going to explore the triad of purple, green, and orange. As they're evenly spaced out on the color wheel, when they are placed together, they are very dynamic in color combination. We're going to cover the entire canvas before we paint on the pumpkins. Another focal point of this painting is that you're going to see light plays a big role. So colors in the background will be mirrored on the objects, as well as colors on the objects will be mirrored in the background. The wispy and curved nature of the background adds to the movement dynamic found in paintings by Van Gogh. You will also see this when we start doing the textured painting as this painting progresses. Don't hesitate to blend your colors as well as bleed your curved colored lines into each other. This blending will add depth. As you're working on this, don't be afraid of making mistakes. If your paintbrush holds on to too much water and it drips onto your canvas and causes bleeding, you can wait for it to dry and paint over it, or you can just go with the flow. technique Van Gogh used for painting such as Starry Night was called impasto. It's thick layers of paint on top of a soft background, either already thickly painted background or plaster. We're going to mimic that with deliberate application of color when we get to that portion of this painting tutorial. But for now, relax and paint a while. As we add more colors and more stripes, this painting is starting to come alive. This is also a good time to take care of your edges. By carrying over the colors from the front of your canvas to the sides, you help your painting look finished. This is easily done while painting the background, but you can also finish up or add additional colors to your trim as you progress in the painting. Now let's add some pops of color. We're going to start adding some fireflies in the background using golds, oranges, and white. You'll add some orbs to the back, so just some simple little circles. You can place them wherever you like. And you can make them as thickly painted or as gently painted as you want. The thicker the paint and the brighter the paint, the closer it is to the viewer. Take your time in adding your fireflies. You can add as few or as many as you want. This is your painting after all. Now we're going to start painting the pumpkins into the foreground, as well as adding more color to our fireflies. Using round gestures to make your pumpkins, as well as adding additional layers of paint in the different sections of the pumpkin skin, can make your pumpkin look more sectioned off or smoother, depending on the look you're going for. You can also do pumpkins of different colors or other fall related objects as your foreground subject. So if pumpkins aren't your thing, but candy apples are, go for it. As you can see here, as we add more sections to the pumpkin and paint more layers of paint, we're giving more dimension and fullness to the pumpkins. The fact that the background comes through still at this point is not a bad thing, because you may not have to add as many reflections of color to your pumpkin as you go, because those colors will already be represented in the pumpkin skin. Now we're going to add a little bit more fire to our fireflies by adding lighter dots and circles at the center of each orb. Now the part we've all been waiting for, impasto. So adding these white wisps of color, we're adding movement to our painting. Outlining your fireflies with impasto dots, these thicker bits of pointillism. you enhance that part of the painting as well as give it movement. The direction your brush goes when you put in the impasto dots also help with the flow. We're going to be adding a lot more of these, as well as going back and enhancing them. But these first passes of impasto will help you find the flow of your painting. So that way, as you continue to add them and add other features such as the line work, you will already have the direction for your painting. Don't forget to rotate your canvas as needed. This way you can get your hand in the right position to make your paint strokes. This is supposed to be a fun activity, not work. Also, you will start adding impasto dots in other colors, kind of mimicking the different shades of purple and blue that you already have in the background. As you paint, you will also have moments where you need to take a break. Go get yourself another drink. Rinse off your paintbrushes. Reload your palette. Or give your canvas just a moment to dry. That way you don't overwork certain portions of your canvas. You can overwork a part of your canvas. But by taking a moment for yourself, you can prevent that. While there might be lulls in this video, keep in mind I'm trying to show you real time that it takes to do a painting like this. And sometimes you might actually have to stop a video and come back to it later. And that's okay. In fact, in the making of this painting, I let the paint dry overnight so that way I wouldn't overwork the pumpkins, and I came back to it and started up again the next day. Now we're adding impasto dots in other colors. So we're adding yellows and oranges to have more light coming from our little fireflies. And here we go, back to the pumpkins. I'm adding some more paint to give a more full appearance to my pumpkins. I had let them dry so that way I wouldn't overwork it and muddy the colors. I am using thick application of paint though, because as we do add impasto to the pumpkins, we will want to see those colors cut through. Adding some yellow here, letting our firefly glow dance on the skin of the pumpkins. Makes them look even more round now, doesn't it? And you can add as much impasto or as little as you like, because the best part about paint is you can keep adding more until it looks the way you want it to. And any mistake can be covered up. In the case you were to overwork part of your canvas and it were to look muddy as opposed to dynamic orange and green and purple, you can let it dry and then do that section over again. There's nothing wrong with that. And now I'm adding some really intense orange to these pumpkins. I don't want it to be any speculations that these are anything else but pumpkins. In the case you were painting something else like apples, you'd want to have some intense reds. Now some intense orange in our fireflies. You'll want to put a little bit of the intense orange in the background. Again, let's get this picture moving. Alright, let's paint some stems on these guys. Some varying shades of green. Could also use brown, but I think green works very well because it's part of the triad. Makes your pumpkin look a little bit fresher than it could look if you put a brown stem on it. You could even add some pumpkin vines and some leaves as if the pumpkins are still in the patch. And yes, you will impasto a little bit of this green into the background. Adds kind of a vibration and life to your painting. And you'll add a little bit of yellow and other shades of green to your stems. Give them some depth. Add a swirling vine. Alright, here we go. Finally adding in some line work. If you haven't seen Starry Night, one of the main features of this painting is that there are very deep black line and other background features in this painting. It makes the painting pop. It gives definition to the objects in the painting, and it just makes the impasto look that much more impressive. So we're going to line our pumpkins. We're going to line the stems. We're going to give some texture to the ridges that are on the pumpkin skin. Give some more shape to the stems. And give a little bit more shape to that cute little vine we painted up in there. line work can make or break a painting. So there is a balance to it. You also don't want to be too light-handed with it either. Definition is key. So you're going to be adding some line work even to your cute little fireflies. And you'll be adding a little bit of line work to the background to show that flow of the painting. Now's a good time to rinse out your brush and wipe it with a paper towel. Too much paint on your brush can mess with your line work. If you've made it this far, honestly, congrats. Masterworks such as Van Gogh or Matisse or Monet, those types of paintings take time. And you've given an hour. However, if you're ready for a challenge, we're going to keep going with this painting and finish it up. As mentioned earlier, I'm adding some leaves. This corner seemed a little too lonely without them. And just as with everything else, we're going to blend some other colors into these, especially some yellows and greens. Now a little bit more line work. Adding some movement to our fireflies. As you continue to progress on your painting, some things that may look like mistakes to you could actually be some character that your painting needed. Adding some line work to our background. And if you thought we were done with impasto, you're wrong. Because we're getting ready to gear up for some serious impasto on this painting. let the impasto begin. Or begin again. Some more intense pops of color are giving this painting more life than it thought it could have. Your paint strokes can be as deliberate or as carefree, and you're still going to end up with a good painting at the end of this. Don't forget to flip your painting and add any additional details that you want to add. I think we've done a good job today. This painting looks rather alive. This was Van Gogh Pumpkins painting instructional video, hosted by Amanda Powell, music by Kevin MacLeod. The song is called Cattails. I hope you've had a great time with us today, and I'm sure your painting looks amazing.